I'm 78 years old. My name is Steve. And I need to tell you something that might save your life. Not your physical life. That's already slipping away whether you like it or not. I'm talking about your real life. The one you keep postponing. The one you're convinced will start, eventually. I spent 50 years getting ready to live, getting ready to love, getting ready to finally be happy. And now I sit here, in a quiet house, surrounded by everything I prepared for, and nothing I actually lived. This is my warning to you, because you're doing the same thing I did. I can see it. I can feel it. You're watching this video thinking it doesn't apply to you. It does. Let me take you back to 1974. I was 28 years old, strong, sharp, full of plans. I had just married the woman I loved. Her name was Eleanor. She had this laugh that could fill an entire room. She believed in me more than I ever believed in myself. We moved into a small apartment, 2 rooms, 1 window, a kitchen so small we had to take turns standing in it. And I made her a promise. I said, "Ellie, this is temporary. Give me 10 years. Just 10 years. I'm going to build us a life so beautiful, you'll forget we ever struggled." She smiled at me, that patient, trusting smile. She said, "I don't need 10 years, Steve. I just need you." But I didn't hear her. I heard what I wanted to hear. I heard permission to disappear into my work, permission to sacrifice the present for a future I was certain would come. That was my first mistake. I treated her patience like a credit card with no limit. I kept borrowing time. I kept saying later. I kept believing the balance would never come due. I grew up poor. Not, we couldn't afford vacations poor. I mean poor. My father worked 2 jobs and still couldn't keep the lights on. I wore my cousin's clothes until they fell apart. I went to school hungry more days than I care to remember. And somewhere in that childhood a belief took root in my mind. A belief that would shape every decision I ever made. I believed that struggle was noble, that sacrifice was the price of success, that you had to suffer now to earn the right to be happy later. I believed that life was divided into 2 parts, the part where you work and the part where you finally live. And I was terrified of being poor again, of watching my family struggle the way I did. So I made a deal with myself. I told myself, "Steve, you will work harder than anyone. You will save more than anyone. You will prepare more than anyone. And when the time is right, when everything is secure, then you will allow yourself to enjoy it." It sounded so reasonable at the time. It was the most dangerous lie I ever believed. Eleanor and I wanted children. She was ready at 30. I said, "Let's wait until we have a bigger place." We got the bigger place when she was 33. I said, "Let's wait until I get the promotion." I got the promotion when she was 35. I said, "Let's wait until we have more savings." We had more savings when she was 37. I said, "Let's wait until the economy is more stable." Do you see the pattern? There was always a reason, always a condition, always one more thing that needed to happen before I would allow life to begin. We finally had our son Michael when Eleanor was 39. It was a difficult pregnancy. She almost didn't make it. I remember standing in that hospital room, holding this tiny baby and thinking, now life begins. But it didn't, because I had trained myself to postpone. It wasn't just a habit anymore, it was who I was. When Michael took his first steps, I was at work. When he said his first word, I was on a business trip. When he scored his first goal in Little League, I was preparing for a presentation that I can't even remember now. I was always one room away from my own life, always present in body, absent in spirit, always preparing for a moment that kept moving further into the future. Eleanor tried to tell me, not with words at first, with looks, with sighs, with the way she stopped asking me to come to dinner and just left a plate in the microwave. I remember one night, Michael was about 7. She sat on the edge of our bed and said something I'll never forget. She said, "Steve, I feel like I'm married to a ghost. You're here, but you're not here. You provide everything except yourself." I got defensive. I said, "I'm doing this for us, for our future. Don't you understand how hard I'm working?" She looked at me with these tired eyes and said, "I understand perfectly. You're working hard for a future. But I'm living in the present, and I'm alone here." I should have listened. I should have stopped everything and held her and promised to change. But I didn't. I told her to be patient. I told her it would all be worth it someday. I told her the life we dreamed of was just around the corner. That corner never came. Let me tell you what I missed while I was preparing. I missed Michael's childhood. Not partially, almost entirely. I missed the way his voice changed. I missed teaching him to drive. I missed the conversations about girls and fears and dreams that fathers are supposed to have with their sons. I missed Eleanor's 40th birthday. I was closing a deal in another city. I sent flowers. She cried when they arrived. I thought they were tears of joy. They weren't. I missed my own father's final months. He was dying of cancer, and I visited twice. Twice. I told myself I would make it up to him when things slowed down at work. I missed the way his voice changed. I missed teaching him to drive. I missed the conversations about girls and fears and dreams that fathers are supposed to have with their sons. I missed Eleanor's 40th birthday. I was closing a deal in another city. I sent flowers. She cried when they arrived. I thought they were tears of joy. They weren't. I missed my own father's final months. He was dying of cancer, and I visited twice. Twice. I told myself I would make it up to him when things slowed down at work. He died on a Tuesday. I was in a meeting when I got the call. I missed anniversaries, holidays, school plays, and Sunday mornings. I missed the feeling of grass under my feet because I was always running on concrete. I missed sunsets because I was always staring at spreadsheets. I missed my wife falling out of love with me because I was too busy counting money that was supposed to buy us happiness. You want to know the cruelest part? I was successful. I hit every financial goal I ever set. I retired with more money than I ever dreamed of as a poor kid in a cold apartment. And I would trade every single dollar to go back to that tiny kitchen with Eleanor, taking turns standing in it, laughing about nothing. That was the life. I just didn't know it. The day I retired, I was 67 years old. I came home with a bottle of champagne. I had this whole speech prepared. I was going to tell Eleanor, "We made it. It's our time now. Let's travel the world. Let's do everything we postponed." I walked through the door, and she was sitting at the kitchen table with a suitcase beside her. She wasn't crying. That's what scared me. She had no tears left. She said, "Steve, I've been waiting 40 years for you to show up. I can't wait anymore." I said, "What are you talking about? I'm here. I'm finally here. I'm retired now. We can do everything we planned." She looked at me with a kind of sadness I had never seen before. She said, "You're not retired, Steve. You're finished. There's a difference. You didn't choose to be here. You just ran out of things to chase. And I refuse to be what's left over." She moved in with her sister that night. We never divorced. But we never really reunited either. She visits sometimes. We talk like old friends. But the intimacy, the partnership, the life we were supposed to share, it's gone. I prepared for 40 years, and by the time I was ready, there was nothing left to prepare for.